Welcome in. This is a special edition of Inside the Tornado. I'm your host, Chris Mangrum, and our special guest today is none other than Olympic gold medalist, former King, two-time national champion, Sarah Hildebrandt here on campus with us. Sarah, welcome in.
Hello. Thank you.
So glad to have you here with us.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we've got some questions for you. Let's start back at the beginning of the Olympics. The opening ceremonies were a little different this year. I know you've been to a few Olympic Games. This year, you're on a boat in a river. So for those of us that didn't get to experience that, tell us what it was like to be on that boat with all the U.S. athletes riding down that river.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was actually really special because previous Olympics, I didn't get to participate in the opening ceremonies because of COVID.
Yeah.
So only a few teams went out and did opening ceremonies. So this is actually my first opening ceremony. So that was really neat. And then on top of that, we're on a boat. It was actually pouring down rain, which was crazy. But Paris showed out. Like, I swear, so many people were like lining the streets of the river and just cheering and waving and supporting. And it was just super fun. Really cool experience.
Well, you bounced back from the bronze medal in Tokyo to earn gold in Paris. Tell us what went through your mind when you stepped on that platform and they handed you this thing.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly, like, so many memories of like coming up short was like flashing through my mind there. I got bronze in 2020, and then, I've come up short in world championships in the years between the Olympics as well. So it's just, this gold medal has evaded me for so long. So like, as I was stepping up finally on the highest step on that podium, it was like all those moments where I just was so close, and it was so emotional. But just so, oh my gosh, I get goosebumps just thinking of it still.
So this was the fourth ever gold for U.S. women's wrestling, the first ever gold medal for a King University athlete. So what do those things mean to you? What do those honors mean?
Oh, it's just beyond words and imagination. It's like, it's still so hard to wrap my mind around, so surreal. But it's so cool to get to like represent these, King University and then the United States, all of that, women's wrestling, women's sports, to just be a little piece of that puzzle and be on this path of like growing and making these platforms bigger and better for the women after me. It's incredible,
Well, certainly when you're in Paris, I know you're locked in on your competition, but are you aware of a lot of the support that's happening during the Olympics back here from King, but also from the United States? How does that work?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. And that's what I like pour into as well. It's just like to be aware of that support and feel that support. Like, it is actually incredibly calming. You can imagine it's a pretty stressful time leading up to it. So, just getting messages from people back home, seeing videos, people here at King just supporting and getting ready, and like everybody just kind of being aware of it all is just, oh my goodness, it made my heart so full and happy. And it just really makes me excited to strap up and feel that love and support back home. And it really calmed me down.
So those of us who watched you wrestle this time around, we kind of noticed maybe a little different demeanor from your first Olympics to the second Olympics. It was a little different watching you out there. So how would you say your approach changed this time around compared to your last time in Tokyo?
Yeah, I was so serious in Tokyo. Very intense. And it was crazy to, I just felt like I had to be this machine. I felt like, I had to be so disciplined and could not feel emotions, any of that. And after I had lost in Tokyo, I felt like nothing. Like, I felt like I lost it all. And what was left was just this husk of a person.
Yeah.
And so I knew if I wanted to continue, I was going to have to make changes. And I wanted to just kind of inject this humanness, this Sarah-ness back into my wrestling, into my life. And that's what I spent the last 3 years doing. And so come Paris, it was just like, I'm going to step out there, be myself, take in this moment and really enjoy it. And I mean, just looking back at the matches, you can see me smiling.
Oh yeah.
Taking on, and it was truly the most fun experience of my life. I'm so happy that I was able to find that, a middle ground of like being so disciplined and working towards a goal, but also like giving myself grace and being myself in the middle of all that.
So let's talk about the morning of your gold medal match. A little chaotic. I've heard you describe it a few times. So there was actually a point, I guess, where you thought that you had won the gold medal without even having to wrestle. Then you find out you do have to wrestle. So tell us about that morning of your gold medal match.
So much chaos. Okay, so I was supposed to wrestle a woman from India. She misses weight, which automatically disqualifies her from the tournament. So I get a phone call that I've won the Olympics. And I'm like, okay, let's double check this. This is a big thing to say over the phone.
Right.
So, my team checks. We get a phone call maybe about 10 minutes later. Yep, you win. It's gone through, every avenue. Everybody's approved it. Lawyers have approved it. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, this is strange. But start calling my family. They're like, everyone's excited. I'm getting text messages from back home. Like, news is leaking out. Yeah. We're setting up a media plan for the rest of the day. It's just like things start kicking off very quickly. Yeah. Maybe about an hour and a half after I got that initial phone call, I get another phone call and they were like, just kidding. You need to wrestle. Bring your shoes tonight. I'm like, okay, here we go. So it was a lot of refocusing very quickly. But you know what? I was then going to be wrestling the Cuban who I ended up wrestling. She was stepping in. She was originally going to go for the bronze medal. So she's now stepping in to wrestle me. And yeah, I just really great team of people around me. We kind of just got right back to work and got the job done.
Yeah, you sure did. Now, I'm not sure what's more wild, you having to wrestle a completely different opponent than you planned for, or you sitting on a curb in Paris with your medal eating a McChicken. So tell us how that came to fruition.
Okay, so first of all, golden arches for golden medals. That's what I'm saying. Okay. But okay, so after I was the very last match of the day.
Yeah.
Gosh, so it had to have been after 10 o'clock when I was done wrestling. You go on probably about an hour and a half of media after that. So media, there's press conference. You're trying to sneak in some food. Didn't really happen. After that, there is drug testing. So I'm in drug testing until I can produce a sample, which took a while. So we're sitting there. I did not get out of that arena till probably 2:30 in the morning. So we're like, what's open, you know? And they're like, well, McDonald's closes in 30 minutes. It's just a few blocks down. Yeah. We're like sprinting to this McDonald's. I have my medal on. I'm like, I just need some French fries and a McChicken. And yeah, so I got my food. There was no place to sit. It was surprisingly popping in there. So we just went and sat on the curb right outside, eating chicken nuggets and McChickens, and people were driving by, hooting and hollering, honking. They saw the gold medal. And actually, the manager of the store came out with they sell macarons in McDonald's in France, which is very on brand. And they're like, for Mrs. Golden, macarons for you. They're so good. They're so good.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So many people that are proud of you, including your King family. I'm sure your family back home, just your country is so proud of you. What do you have to say to all of your many supporters around the country?
Oh my gosh, thank you from the bottom of my heart, with every piece of me, just so much gratitude. It has been such an emotional journey, and I absolutely could not have done it without the people around me, near and far. People I truly do not think know or understand the role that they've played in my career so selflessly, and it's just beyond words. I'm so grateful, and I really am truly representing those people every time I step on the wrestling mat. So thank you for giving me strength and courage through all of this. And we did it.
You sure did. Well, I won't ask you what's coming next. I asked you that a few years ago, and you gave me a pretty great answer. You told me that you had some unfinished business and that you had your eyes on gold in Paris, and look what happened. So I know you were taking it a day at a time. Whatever comes next for you, we'll be supporting you and rooting you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, this has been a very special edition of Inside the Tornado. I'm your host, Chris Mangrum, for Sarah. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.